the more I see, the more I like out of this player. So I think I'm going to immediately say, you must re-sign Philip Tomasino. What are your thoughts?
And I'm in full agreement as well. Philip Tomasino is someone, because he's really young at only 23, can play center, at least as listed on Puckpedia here. Has those chances to really be something with this team going forward. I don't know what kind of deal you sign him to. Again, it probably doesn't need to be long or expensive, but the more he plays, the better he looks. He's currently playing with Evgeni Malkin. I get that Malkin's line mates have kind of been in hell all season, but it's a good player to keep around for the future. I like what he can bring. I like what he has done for this team so far, and it'll be an enjoyable piece to have moving forward as well.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, even when he's not on the score sheet, which he's found the score sheet with a little bit more regularity than he did earlier in the season when he first came to the Penguins. He was kind of red hot. Then there was a little bit of a lull, and he was trying to find his game, and he's kind of found it here. And it's not just in the offensive zone. I've noticed on countless occasions, he's back in the defensive zone. His positioning is very good. He's good at winning puck battles, and his chemistry with Malkin, like you mentioned, is something that we're starting to see grow and potentially could iron him out a position in the top 6 to start next season, which is something I don't think a lot of people expected. But he's starting to find his game offensively. He's looking much better on the power play. He looked a little lost when he first came over the Penguins on the power play. Some of that might have been learning the scheme. Some of that might have just been in general development from then to now. Because if you look at him on the power play, very crisp movements, very crisp passes, very good decision-making with the puck on his stick. So I've really enjoyed watching the growth of Phil Tomasino this season. I think if you're trying to look at some of the biggest success stories of the Pittsburgh Penguins throughout the season, Tomasino has to be at or near the very top of that list. And I think that's something that you have to build upon. And I'd have a hard time believing Tomasino wouldn't want to come back to the organization that has given him this opportunity and that he's flourished in, because you look at what he's done, 10 goals in about 41 games. It's a 20-goal pace. That's a very good pace for a guy that came over in a cap dump deal, essentially, for the Nashville Predators. It's just another instance this year of Kyle Dubas taking Barry Trotz to the woodshed, and I think the Penguins got a very good player out of it in Philip Tomasino. Matt Grzelcyk. This is an interesting conversation. Horwat, I will let you lead off with this one.
It is an interesting conversation, but I think my answer came pretty easily, and that is you move on. He came in, he worked his services, and he was, I don't know about almost traded at the deadline, but there's a lot of that conversation happening from us and others. It's just not someone that you're overly worried about coming back for another season. I get why people might. However, not that you've created a logjam in defense here, but this is a spot that can open up for maybe some adding through a trade, adding through free agency. There are other options here, I think. That's just me. When it comes to the way this team is looking, he isn't going to be part of that sort of future.
Horwat, I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't. I look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, and somebody has also highlighted, I say the full name a lot because I like the alliteration. Okay, back off. I look at this team, and I say they already need a new top 4 left-handed defenseman to fill the role of Marcus Pettersson. It's not going to be Ryan Graves. Is not going to be Vlad Kolyachonok. Not for an entire season. They're not going to have him as the answer. I like what he's done, but he's not going to be the answer there. So the Penguins already need to fill the role of Marcus Pettersson. They might need to fill another top 4 role if they trade Erik Karlsson. Let's not act like that's not looming over the Penguins as well. So if you're telling me that they're going to go into this summer, they're going to trade Karlsson, and they're going to say 3 of our top 4 defensemen from last year are off of this roster. The only one remaining is Kris Letang. That feels like a team that is still moving in the direction of burn it down as much as we can. Not to the ground, not to the studs, because as we've heard, you don't do that with Crosby and Malkin. That's not part of the plan. They're not going to burn it to the studs, which is why it feels to me that they're going to bring back Matt Grzelcyk. He's been very good, and you cannot take this away. It's not just an asterisk. It is a very important piece to the entire equation. He has been very good on the power play. And he's been better on defense as the year has gone on. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's great defensively, but he has done something that in 2 years, no other defenseman not named Marcus Pettersson has been able to do. And that is perform at a consistently decent level in your own zone when playing next to Erik Karlsson. I think that has to be taken into account as well. So imagine him with somebody who can actually play defense above a third grade level. Like Erik Karlsson, I don't like to bash on him too much because I do think that he gets it too much from the fan base. But defense-wise, there's a lot to be desired with Erik Karlsson's game. If Matt Grzelcyk is playing with somebody who is a defense first or even a defense 50-50 type of player, I think you see better in his own zone out of Matt Grzelcyk. And we've seen a lot of good in the offensive zone from him on the power play, no less, which, yeah, you can say, well, Marcus Pettersson had a career year offensively playing next to Erik Karlsson. It's just what Karlsson does. But considering the fact that Matt Grzelcyk has been a power play merchant this year too, that credit doesn't come from Karlsson. Grzelcyk doesn't share the ice with Karlsson on the power play. So he's a power play general. He's been better defensively. And the Penguins need to already fill one, maybe two spots outside of Grzelcyk's on the defensive side of the ice. That's why I'm saying he is a must sign for the Penguins.